Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Auburn Planning Board meeting of Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Now call to order at 7 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and broadcasted live by Local Access Programming. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight that is recording tonight's meeting? There being none, please rise and join us to salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the planning board members to please refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. The first item on the agenda for this evening is applicant Gabriel Moreira Claudino requesting site plan approval. I'll entertain a motion to open the hearing.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I myself is an aye. Hearing is open. Is there anybody here from applicant Gabriel Moreira Claudino? Please approach.
Did you want to come up?
Yeah. Can you tell us about your project? Yeah. Please state your name and address for the record. Okay. Can you tell us about your project?
It's about use it car dealership.
Okay. So you're asking for a site plan review right now? So you're looking to open a new car dealership? What's the project? Can you give us a description on the project? They can approach as well.
Hi, folks. My name is Manuel Nascimento, and our project is to open up a used car dealer located on 500 Washington Street.
Okay. Do any members on the board have any questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a question. It was noted in the documents that there were questions about emergency vehicle access to the site, given the density of parking spaces. I see that the applicant has attempted to address this through the revised plan, but I don't see any feedback from any of the emergency responders. I don't know if we've received any, Adam.
Not yet. I have a question, Mr. Chairman. How did you develop this plan as far as how many vehicles you think you're going to be able to have on the lot? 'Cause it looks like a huge quantity for the
No,
size.
it's going to be between 35 to 40. That's our plan, but we are requesting for you folks, and is the minimum is 35 is already exist there, 35 spot. But we tried to put another 5 is a little bit in back where there has the, and that's is gonna be like 40, include that employee parking spot.
And what about the house, sir, at 85 South Street? Have you
85
planned for
South
parking
Street.
spots for that residence?
Yeah, that one that has his own driveway. He has his own driveway, because when you went to lease to the owner, to Joseph, he told us was we supposed to go through to the parking lot. He said, no, leave his driveway alone. His driveway, you cannot touch that. I said, fine. So,
Okay. And Are there any plans to change any of the building, knock down any parts of the
No,
building?
nothing to change on the building. You're welcome.
Yes, you don't have any dimensions on the plan at all, and you've got to have the proper turning radiuses and aisles within the parking spots and some of the spots where you get close. You really should come back with a plan, at least for the parking and the dimensions of the building, that show dimensions for what we're looking at. You have to have the proper turning radiuses before we can look, further at this.
I think we bought two plans. One is the building by itself. The another one was the lot. That has the measurement like 9.5 by 18, usually.
How many employees do you plan to have there? How many employees do you plan to have?
Only our three. Tiago, Manny, and Gabriel.
And you have I only see 2 parking spots for 3 employees. I only see 2 parking spots for 3 employees.
Yeah, probably, if you don't see that, probably I don't put it, but it's supposed to be three spot.
Right now, so as we're looking at this plan, I'm not seeing the right turning radiuses. It's really tight at the corner there. I don't know what that distance is. I need a better designation of your inventory spots. I see 3 red dots over here marked at 54 feet. What's that? Can you?
Extra spots, but it was going to be too tight, so we're not gonna use that spots.
Yeah, but now I still can't tell what the distance is from the building to the back of your parking spots there. And then we also don't have comments from the fire department with your updated exits and radiuses for fire truck access. So, I mean, are there any other questions from the board?
Yeah, you gotta have the company, usually a turn aisle around the whole building, and sometimes they may waive that because you got 3/4 or better and there's plenty of room here. But these points here, we don't know what they are, and they look like they're gonna be less than 24 in the turning aisles. Okay, and we always have that be what it is in this point here and stuff like that.
And, I mean, you can approach to see what we're
You know-
talking about if you want to come look at it.
Yes, please.
So we always want to make sure that that's at least 24 feet.
Yes.
So we wanted to show that.
One that has a 24 feet is, has a, what's the size of that? There's more than that.
And then this area here is,
No, it's gonna be empty.
Like the exit, I think you're talking about,
It's just look like
the
this.
corner.
Yeah, it just
The
look
corner
Yeah.
is 30, 30?
so you have 30 feet there.
Yes.
You have
We
30
have to see it.
Yeah,
on the
so-
plan.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to send us a
See
plan.
here,
And this seems tight in case they need to ever, that's why I want fire department comments, and in case they gotta get a truck up here. So, my first thought is, we need to continue this. We need to get the comments from the fire department, but we also need to get these drawings updated with all these measurements.
see it here,
Yeah. See, that,
see in these areas here.
But what would be the minimum for this?
whatever the fire department, because they have to be able to get their
They
truck.
need to tell us.
Yeah, they need to tell you
To
guys.
come around, for this distance here,
Yeah,
20 feet, no problem.
yeah.
But in here,
Oh, but,
see where you go in here, wherever you got the cars.
because over here, the driveway for the parking spot for the house.
For the house.
Doesn't belong to us.
Yeah, but right in here, what I'm just showing you.
Okay.
This is this the house?
Yes.
House on you guys' property, or
I
is it?
thought the driveway comes down the left side of, the right side of the house.
See if I can show you over here, just 1 second. Over here, 500. Over here, here, and the house is over here. That's a driveway, the house, driveway.
Can you do an aerial view?
It's on the left side of the house.
Can you do, yeah,
Over
yeah,
here.
yeah.
That's the driveway. And we are allowed to put the cars up to over here.
So is this their property or your property? Where's the property line?
Actually, everything is one property, but that's the house rented to another person. And that's
Okay.
the building, that's gonna be a dealership.
Okay.
But,
Yep.
So that's the customer driveway here?
Show the whole property.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's the house.
So I would ask in the next revision of plans, we have to show the whole property so we can clearly delineate what's for the rental property and what's for the business. Because,
Show these points here. They should be, we need, wherever the cars are built, that comes down and goes through here, should be a 20-foot, 4-foot. Because they want to be expand the dimension. Yeah. Expand the dimension, they don't have no AC. But they still have.
That's one of those things I want to ask you.
This, no, see here? These are the, this is the building right here. Okay, this is okay that they're close to the building, but this has to be 24 feet. And this has to be 24, and obviously if this is, that'll be, because it's greater distance. And then these points, these are gonna be all shown, we're not calling these inventory points. You're showing possible points. So that's, you don't have to have any special, this 37 feet. But we don't have to see
Yeah.
the fire department says.
we gotta wait to see what the fire department says for this area here as you show, because either I would include a better drawing or aerial view in your drawings to show.
Something with dimension.
Yeah, with dimensions. So show that, because right now on this plan, this looks like it should be a drivable path. If it's not, it needs to show on the map, so that way, because once we turn it in, anybody looks at this drawing, they're gonna think they should be able to drive there.
And, they don't need site plan.
Yeah.
Is it a site plan?
No, they don't need drainage.
No, it's already existing.
Yeah, it's existing, so. And then, have you guys gotten input from the DPW? Do they need?
I haven't had any comments from them.
Okay.
I can reach back out.
Yeah, if you could reach back out, Dr. Menard,
Come back
please.
with a print. Usually we like a full set of plans, but if you come back with a print, if everybody's on board with just showing all the dimensions and the location of everything.
All
And
of
we
those.
get,
Yeah.
and we get the plans from the fire, police, and highway department, we should be able to make a decision.
Right, and Mr. Chair, and it seems to me that your key issue is the number of spaces. So depending on the feedback from the fire department, what it might require is that you reduce the number of spaces and reconfigure in order to allow that. So that's really what we're dealing with here.
Definitely will accept those things. Whatever the fire department tell us, whatever they need to open, that's the way.
So, if you go back to the podium, we can continue this hearing.
Don't forget to ask public comment.
Are there any comments from the audience?
I have a question.
Yeah, please approach the mic. Thank you.
Here?
Yep.
I'm Ruth Ann Harris. We live on 81 South Street. I came to see you, you might remember. I just have a question. It's such a busy corner with Cumberland Farm there. I just want to be sure. I understand, I'm a layperson for sure. Clearly, where the entrance is and where the exit is, there's no roads. I can't really tell what, like, is that Route 20? Is that Route 20? Is that South Street? I'm not,
Quite sure. Yep. So the entrance is on Washington Street?
that's South Street, okay. And if we were to look here, that's Cumberland Farms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think the biggest concern, so he just showed me that this is Route 20, that is the entrance. And this is Cumberland Farms over here, pretending it is, with the exit on South Street. You know, that's a very, very busy place where on the opposite side of the street, getting across the street is ridiculous. People can't leave their children to catch the bus there. It's very dangerous to cross the street. So I think it would be great if you're going to do this, that you paint have some sort of lit up crosswalk, because people are trying to make the light, people are turning off 20, and now people are exiting this in order to get on the road. Does that make sense?
Yep, no, that makes sense. Then the comment is noted, but that would be something for the DPW to make
Of
comment on.
course,
And we-
yes, no, I understand. I just want to be sure that we don't create something that's worse than it already is,
No,
safety-wise.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question of the lady? Ma'am, did you have a lot of issues when it was Tiny Tim's previously, as far as the traffic? Because that was a busy location then also.
It was a busy location, but a lot of people, I think it wasn't so obvious. And of course, you know, I'm trying to visualize all the cars popping out between the cars that are lined up here. I think what I'm probably calling on here is it's a safety concern whether this happened or not, probably with Tiny Tim's as well. If we think about that crosswalk, you can barely see it, people are racing down to catch the light, now more people are going to be pulling out. Rarely did they pull out that way in Tiny Tim's, but I don't watch it all the time. So I just feel like it's already busy, make the crosswalk flashing light or something so that people have to slow down.
no, your concerns are noted. We can't necessarily designate them to make the crosswalk.
I understand, just because, you know, I just wanted to bring that up.
No, absolutely, and we're going to reach back out to the DPW for their comments on this as well, and we can mention this to them, that there are some concerns with the crosswalks.
Thank you very much.
With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing to, Dr. Morado, do you think we'll have comments back from the fire department by our next meeting?
Yeah, we should.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Jason, aye. So we will continue your hearing to our next scheduled meeting, which is on December 9th. All right, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
So, thank you.
Next up is applicant Fuss O'Neill requesting a site plan review under section 3.2.4.2 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a fire station located at 10 Prospect Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 60, 61, parcels 1052. Is there anybody here representing applicant Fuss O'Neill? Yep, go right ahead.
Jason, do we need a motion to open the hearing?
I thought this
I'll make a
hearing was
motion
only...
to open the public hearing.
Was there a second?
I'll second it.
Aye.
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 Aye, the hearing is now opened. Please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Josue Valdez with Fuss O'Neill, and I'm here to present on the Town of Auburn Fire Rescue Headquarters. As noted on the agenda, we are requesting site plan approval by the Planning Board per section 3.2.4.2, based on the use being a government administration building, fire or police station, and is permitted through site plan approval by the Planning Board. So can I drive this? Is this the one leading the presentation?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So there on the back, we have a pretty much site location map to depict the location of the site. Should I make this bigger, or is that fine?
I'm okay. We have copies right
Okay, perfect. So quick overview of the site location. The site is located at 10 Prospect Street. It's a pretty much currently developed site. There used to be a restaurant there. Right now, it's still was developed with the parking lot that was there. The building was demolished in the past to just open room for the fire rescue headquarters. The site is abutted to the north, to the east by Prospect Street and the commercial plaza, to the west by the existing wetlands and dealership, to the north by Dunkin' Donut and Route 12, and then to the south by Washington Street, which is Route 20, and on the other side of Route 20, you have a dealership also. These are just a few renders of how the site will look once completed. This first view, it's pretty much if you are, imagine that you are just standing right on Prospect Street, looking towards the site. This is the view that you get. On the right side, you see pretty much the apparatus bays where the fire trucks and emergency vehicles go in and out from the site. And then on the left side, you see the main portion of the building where the offices, bunkers, and everything will be. And then the next view, this is kind of like pointing towards the front entry. This view, it's mostly from Washington Street. And then on the right side, that view that you see there is the view that we already saw on the previous slide. Now, talking from a site perspective, I do want to point out before getting to a specific about the site that in conjunction with the site plan approval by the planning board, we have submitted for land disturbance permit, DPW, and we have also submitted with COMCOM for an NOI. We actually had COMCOM meeting last week, and we were continuing to the next meeting, specifically because we haven't still gone through the planning board process. So major, in general, for the site, like the big mass that you see in the middle, that's kind of the proposed building. The building, pretty much, so the plan is orientated plan north. So however, to make it easier, I'm just gonna reference like right and left, so it's easier to follow. So the right side of the view of the plan, you can see that first slide that we saw that is pretty much facing from Prospect Street. So that's where you have the concrete aprons specifically designed for the apparatus bays for the emergency vehicles. On the lower portion of the slide, you see that front parking lot. That's where it's going to be designated for the public use, and it's also going to be the main entrance. Right next to the building, right there in the front, you have what will be the accessible spaces. And then on the left, on the rear portion of the side on the back, you have what will be the designated kind of like emergency or, well, not only emergency vehicle, but let's say authorized personnel only, which would be like staff, firefighters, to park on the back. Right now, we are proposing 4 curb cuts for the site. Out of the 4 curb cuts, 3 are already existing, which are it's 5 curb cuts. And 1, 2, 4 of those are already existing. Like the 2 on Washington Street are already existing, and if anything, are going to be smaller as part of this development. The one on Prospect Street is also already existing, and it's also going to be a smaller part of this development. So the lower portion of the driveway is going to be even farther away from Washington Street as shown on this plan. And then there is 1 more curb cut, that is the one on Southbridge Street, and that one is also existing. I want to point out that the drive access on the left side, it will only be designated for emergency vehicles or authorized personnel only, so the public will not be using those drives. There's going to be signs stating this. The curb cuts intended for the public use are the other one on Prospect Street, right in the middle of the main parking lot. Well, the other one on Washington Street, right in the middle of the main parking lot, and the one on the right, the intersection of Prospect Street and Washington Street. The curb cut also right next to the apparatus bay on the north of the building will also be only designated for emergency vehicles only or authorized personnel with signs stating this. And then the small parking area that you see on the top of the view, that's only there for the existing memorial. So we are proposing to kind of redo that area and kind of build like 3 spaces right there for people to be able to visit the memorial, sit there, and like just enjoy the memorial. Overall, we are proposing a total of 95 parking spaces for the project. Currently, there are no requirements for this use for the total number of spaces to be calculated by the zoning bylaws. So we work together with the fire department to like establish their need based on the fleet vehicles, staff, shifts, and all of this. And we came up with that number. For now, I want to point out that the previous development, the parking lot that was existing there, had actually 140 spaces. So if anything, this is proposing a reduction of that number. Overall, we are, and I will at the end leave the room open for questions, but like overall, we are complying with the building setbacks requirements. The screening as shown here is schematic for the view, but we do have a detailed landscape plan within the plan set. Here also you can see the proposed stormwater features, which are the blue dotted lines, like it's on the front parking lot and the rear parking lot. Those are subsurface systems intended to store and recharge water and provide water quality. We are proposing these systems to discharge to the left near the existing wetland system there. And we will be proposing also stone aprons to prevent erosion to the wetland. So we're going to be discharging not in the wetland, but outside of the wetland, and creating level spreaders to make sure the energy is dissipated and we are not proposing any erosion or creating any erosion into the wetland. In general, from a traffic perspective, as currently shown, we are proposing all the drives to be two-way. Like I said, the caveat to that is that the left drive access that goes directly from Washington Street to Southbridge, it's only intended for authorized vehicles only and not for the public. All utilities will be connecting from Prospect Street. Again, this plan is just for the presentation, where you have a more detailed utility plan within the plan set that was submitted. So all utilities will be directly connecting from Prospect Street to the building, mostly through that concrete apron area next to the apparatus bay. And that's the overview of our presentation. And now, if the board has any questions, we're here to answer.
I'll open it to the board. Anybody on the board have any questions?
Is that area in the front of the largest area in the parking that you have in the front on Washington Street, is that the exit, that colored-in area?
Sorry?
Right, yeah, someplace in there.
Yeah, so that's the...
That goes onto Route 20.
Yes, so that's an existing curb cut, and it's going to be, it's currently shown, will be part of the, it's a two-way access drive to the front parking
All
lot.
those aisles in between have the 24-foot.
Yes, those are 24
How many doors do you have? Is it 6 that I see?
doors for the building.
Yes. Big garage doors. that
Oh,
open on
yeah,
the Prospect.
1, 2, 3, 4, so it's, I believe it's 8, it's 4 on each side. 5 on each side.
Any snow storage?
Yes, we, again, not shown here, but it should be within the application on the stormwater report. With the long-term operational maintenance plan, there is a figure. So we are depicting areas for snow storage that should not conflict with any proposed features or landscape.
And do you expect anything else to go on the site at any other time in the future?
So the one thing that still early on, there might be additional parking added on the green space that you see in the middle. We are working with the fire department to determine if they need the extra spaces based on their needs, but that's still not 100% clear. Our goal is that before we present and we come here again, we have that clear. That's still not 100%. That's the one thing that we're working on.
Mr. Chair, I note that there were some comments from the Auburn Water District, and I was wondering if those have been addressed.
Yes, we address those. Those are not included in those plans because the plans you have in front of you are the plans that were submitted, and these comments were after. And yes, those were pretty minor. I think we just like the main connection of the water line with the water main. They wanted to see that differently from what we were showing. And then it was a change on how we were connecting the domestic and fire water into the building, and those have been addressed. So they will be, when we resubmit, those will be taken care of.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Did you have any pictures of the finished building? I didn't see any in my package.
Those, no, the finished building are only here in the presentation. Those. Yeah, there we have elevations that call for the materials to be used and the colors, but there are not renders. If needed, we could include these renders when we resubmit.
Please include those. I'd also like to see snow storage in your site plan here.
Okay.
For both construction, but also permanent use as well.
Okay.
Are there any questions from the audience? Seeing how this is still out for peer review on our end as well, we're going to continue this hearing. I don't think we'll have comments back by the December 9th meeting.
Probably not.
Okay. So how about we're going to continue it to the December 9th meeting if we have comments back. If not, we'll just continue it to the next meeting after that. Does that work?
Yeah, that works. I think the one question will be, will there be any benefit to come back if we haven't received the comments in December?
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless John may have some comments, but
And, okay,
yeah, so
Sure, we can play it by ear and
Yeah.
get closer to the meeting.
we can continue it for now, so that way you're on the books for it. And then once we get close to the meeting, you can get in contact with Dr. Menard, see where we're at with the comments, and then we can just choose to push it off for the following meeting if need be.
yeah, that's fine. And the one question I have is, if we were to receive the comments just like a few days before the next hearing, even if we don't have enough time to address those comments, but if we have enough time to review them and like come here and present and say like, yeah, we feel that we can address those, will that be beneficial? Or,
No, because we're going to want to see them up in your updated drawings, so. All right?
okay. Is the board meeting twice in January or only one?
One in December.
One in December, then it'll be
Oh,
out.
in January, I mean.
January, we'll be back twice.
Okay. Yeah, I was just asking because, from a project standpoint, this goes outside of your purview. It is what it is with the peer review and all of that. It's just a matter of like, I'm just trying to understand like if we are going to be able to stay on track and hopefully go through the permitting by the end of January. So like having 2 meetings in January,
Yeah.
it's definitely helpful. So thank you.
Certainly. All right, I'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing to our December 9th meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jason, I am an aye. This hearing is continued to our December 9th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Next up is applicant Todd Ostrakolowicz, quality contract requesting site plan approval modification. Is there anybody hearing, representing that hearing?
Through the chair, I just got the comments back from the peer reviewer a week or so ago, so they haven't responded yet to those peer review comments.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to continue the applicant Todd Ostrakolowicz quality contracting hearing to our December 9th meeting.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Jason, I am an aye. That hearings continue. Next up is applicant New Singular Wireless requesting site plan approval. Is there anybody here representing New Singular Wireless?
Through the chair, they were wrapping up their land disturbance permits. They want to continue until the next meeting and hopefully be all set by then.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to continue their hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? All right, all in favor, please show.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I am an aye. That hearing is continued. Next up, we have a modification, 15 Hardscrabble Road. It's currently out for peer review, but is there anybody here representing that? Please approach.
Good evening. Thank you for the time to hear our project. To my left is Lisa McMenemy from Casella Waste,
Market area manager of that site.
and as well as Oxford. My name's Michael Walsh with Walsh Engineering Associates, and we have a project, obviously, for stormwater improvements at their facility at 15 Hardscrabble Road. We're essentially proposing a retrofit to replace the existing detention pond on site that was constructed in 1995, thereabouts. The facility has done several improvements over the last 8 to 10 years, mostly upstream of the pond. BMPs that include, see here, there's some of these here. They've replaced a 12,000-gallon oil water separator UST that all drainage goes to before it discharges to the existing pond for treatment. Upstream of that, there's 2 media roof filters for runoff from a zinc-coated roof to reduce zinc concentrations. That was done in 2018-19, I believe. There's also several Clara units, which in line, that are 4-chambered systems for stormwater specifically. We found to be very effective at, one, allowing sediment to settle in the units itself. They have internal bypasses so they don't get scoured and resuspended. And they also function as oil water separators in the event that there might be a spill on site. We have even additional capacity to hold back or retain oil on site. There's other features on here, if you see it to the right on the figure above, is a Clara unit. If you're interested, it's a pretty interesting unit, basic but effective, and we've used them at several sites, similar sites across New England. To your left, I guess, above is a photo of the existing detention basin. And with all the improvements that have been done, one of the issues is just inconsistent results in their pollutant removals. And it really needs, to be flattened or measured results rather than those spikes. So we've constructed these in other places. One we just completed in Oxford, but we completed one several years ago in New Hampshire, in Allenstown, New Hampshire, which is at a transfer station, a very similar site. They had similar concerns, and it's performed extremely well. We think this is one of the better applications of a stormwater BMP that we've run into. We've done proprietary systems and so, and they're very effective. But these have real advantages. One is just their pollutant removals and the range of which they address them. They're very efficient. The other practical matter is the ability to detain stormwater and reduce peak flows above the actual treatment unit. So the gravel wetland sits below. If I can scroll down to that screen. This is just a very basic schematic of one. But anyways, if you look at it to the left, which isn't shown, would be, and in this application as well, there'll be a sediment forebay as part of this system where the existing pond is. But there'll be a large forebay for settling. From that forebay, the water drains and is driven down essentially through a weir and through a stone channel to below grade. And what you have is plants and so forth within an 8-inch thick layer of wetland soils. Some transition materials there, pea stone and sand, and then a 24-inch layer of crushed gravel, crushed stone. And then within it, some conveyance piping. And the whole idea is to drive it down within this layer for that treatment effect. And they're all two cell, I should say, units or BMPs. So to your left is cell 1, and it drives it down both from the inlet at the forebay and from individual standpipes. And so what they want is the longest path for it to flow through. So at the edge of the forebay, it's driven down. It's got a collection pipe on the opposite end that brings it through a berm, and it goes through the process again. And then at the end, there's obviously a discharge pipe, there's overflow bypass, an outlet control structure controls essentially the level of the water at all times. So there's a wall and a weir in that outlet control structure that keeps the soil, several inches of that soil, of the wetland soil, moist and wet and able to support the wetland plants that are planted above. So the treatment is kind of twofold. Through the stone layer, this microbial environment develops over time, and it's primarily anaerobic, and that's the primary treatment. But in addition to that, you have uptake from the plants that grab some of these pollutants and utilize it. So the removal efficiencies we find to be pretty effective. I can't seem to move this for some reason. There you go. See, I knew. I needed her help. There we go. This is a kind of a schematic. It's from the site plan, but what this, if you can see it at this scale, it collects drainage collected around the building itself. If you can see, the pond to the right, highlighted in blue, up to the left of it is a truck scale, and off that truck scale really is the intersection of all drainage that runs through the site. Storm drainage is collected and run through the site. Some of the things I talked to you about earlier are filters that are just left of the office building. As you look at it off the corner is the what is called a zinc begon unit, a proprietary media filter for that south side of the roof. And on the right side of of that figure, you can see, and to the right side of the building, you can see another zinc begon unit. That's roof drainage. You can also, it's a little tough to make out, but they're Clara units, 3 Clara units across the site before the system discharges in low flow conditions through the oil water separator, and high flow condition bypass does go to the pond. That effectively won't change. Really what's changing is a true retrofit of the pond itself.
That part about it bypasses what before it gets to the pond or something?
So high flows. So the idea generally is to treat lower flows, and by the time the higher flows are present, that your majority of your pollutants have already are already through the facility, through the BMP essentially, and the drainage. Does that make sense?
I'll let you finish, then I got some questions.
Yeah, it's really kind of first flush is the idea, is that, you're treating essentially, and design-wise, we're treating for 1 inch of rainfall, or water quality, I should say, over the entire site. But there's a certain limit at what you can treat anything at, and at a certain point, when you hit higher flows, those aren't necessarily treated in any system, for the most part, whether it's proprietary or something like this. Some of the features of the actual gravel wetland, excuse me, it expands the footprint about 20 to 30% of the original pond. So it is expanding a bit in footprint, especially towards the road. So we do encroach that 30-foot front setback in order to install the gravel wetland structures.
How far is the encroachment?
I don't know the number, but it is significant. A good portion of that 30 feet is taken up at the center of the 2 cells of the gravel wetland. So I would guesstimate 25 feet approximately. I don't know if you can see it, but the setback is a dashed line that runs through here. And so you see the front of the structure of the gravel wetland shows that it's within few feet of the fence line and the setback. So anyways, this is the configuration. We've got to match what's existing, right? The footprint and what's there. But the oil water separator will discharge flows into the forebay. And the forebay will drain in this direction, a northerly direction, parallel with Hartscrabble Road. And then this is where I was telling you, where it discharges from the forebay and is driven into that media, that gravel layer for treatment. And then plug flows in this direction from cell 1 here to cell 2, and then through the outlet control structure in normal conditions. And what we're proposing is to have to install discharge across Hartscrabble Road as well. And then use a dissipation here with a riprap channel to discharge to approximately the existing discharge point from the MS4 system right here.
Excuse me. Across the street from your facility is the road goes, then there's a berm, then there's riprap. Are you talking about that riprap?
Yes.
Where it just goes in, and then it just goes from there, direct drive into the reservoir, which further downstream feeds our well supplies? Is that what you're talking about?
It does drain to that existing drainage way, correct. We're connecting with approximately.
The end result of everything you did here, it's got to go somewhere, and it's into the reservoir, whether it's treated or not.
Yeah, discharge from the site.
And when you
Discharges to.
said a little earlier that on high flows, and I've been there many times watching, and when you can't treat it, well, maybe then we shouldn't have that facility there. That's my feeling.
Yeah, that's something I can't address, honestly.
Just a comment, are we up, when, he's not done yet.
So the one thing it's not different, we've used it in another facility for gravel wetland. Rather than earthen berms, given the space constraints, we're using concrete precast or cast-in-place concrete walls to minimize the footprint and be able to fit it into the available space there. Other than that, I mean, I think it's relatively straightforward. There's, obviously no change in the building, the parking, snow storage. It shouldn't affect that. It's really relegated to a retrofit in generally the same location as the existing pond, just a little bit bigger footprint.
I had a question, Mr. Chairman. On a percentage basis, how much would you say that this project is going to improve the discharge that goes into Dark Brook Reservoir?
I can show you from Mass DEP's, so this shows, to the left is the existing pond, a photo of it, and above it shows Mass DEP's removal efficiency estimates for an extended dry detention basin, which is probably the best fit for what's there currently. So you see that total suspended solids at about 50% with pretreatment, which the site does have, and then it jumps to 80% estimated removal percentage for TSS with the constructed wetland. So if you go down there, you can see in almost every case, there is an increase, even in those estimates, and some fairly significant. But it's hard to put a number on a bunch of different parameters. But in almost all cases, it's more efficient. And that's what we've seen in practice to date, so we expect to see the same.
John, any questions?
No questions.
Have you ever put any monitoring wells in anywhere across the street or anywhere on your facility to check it? Or have you done any environmental checking of what's discharged into the reservoir or close to it?
So monitoring wells for groundwater? We have not installed, I have not been involved in a project that has installed groundwater wells. It may have been done originally at the facility. I may have seen records that this is years ago. But I'm not intimately familiar with it, no. We certainly have not been involved in that in the last 10 years.
Again, you understand that it goes in the reservoir, and then it eventually feeds our wells that supply the people in Auburn with drinking water down on the back of like Fuller's and Walsh Ave in that area.
Yeah, no, I understand that, that's clear, and that's one of the reasons we've selected this BMP. It is certainly not the cheapest. It is not the easiest to build, but we think it is by far the most effective, and not only that, the maintenance is more reasonable, more effective, and its longevity should be much longer than a proprietary system, and removal rates are much greater than typical
So,
detention ponds or
When
similar.
you did this and came upon this, you did it because someone must have had a concern that the water before this wasn't being probably treated properly or as to the full extent that it could?
Yeah, there's no question that the pond is built and, designed in the early 90s, and really just doesn't hold enough water. It drains quickly. The discharge pipe was set low, how it was normally constructed there and approved by the town at the time. But what we found is that it's, through the system, this is a weakness that needs to be corrected.
And that water that you're talking about, when it was draining quickly and everything because of the height of the pipe, that was going into the reservoir too?
Yeah, water that discharges from the site, as you can tell, I would imagine if you
Well,
look at
there
the...
isn't anywhere else for it to go, so
Yeah,
almost anything from hardscrabble is gonna go into that piece of reservoir that's...
Correct, I would imagine. My guess is that most of Hardscrabble Road, the entire development from West Street down, eventually makes it, what doesn't infiltrate does probably reach a reservoir.
Sorry. My only question is, what is the current size of the basin that's there? Does that also encroach in that 30-foot buffer zone already, or?
It does not. It's about 10,500 square feet, and that's a rough estimate, to be honest with you. But and it is earthen berm and so forth, so there's no structures essentially. So I guess my interpretation is no, it does not, and the footprint of it, I believe, generally stays out of that setback. I can double check that if you give me a minute. As best I can from this figure. It's close. I mean, the berm itself may encroach, the existing berm may encroach it somewhat, but there's no structure except I guess there's an outlet structure that controls the pond that, or at least a drain manhole outside the pond that may be within that 30-foot setback.
And what is the current timeline of this project if you were to get?
We'd like to construct it as early as late winter to early spring.
Just carry it over.
Are there any other questions from the board?
None for me, thanks.
Do you
Any
have any oversight that looks or checks what you're doing there, or the, on these basins and oil and water separators and the systems that you're putting in or have got in there currently?
Any checks to see,
Does the DEP or EPA, does anyone come to look at that and check them, or?
they do not directly, but yeah, they are subject to the EPA's MSGP permit, the multi-sector general permit. So there is sampling that's conducted and monitoring.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Are there any other projects that you're considering in the near future?
At this site, currently,
Site as far as, cleaning up even more?
the only other one is, that had been pending, and we ran into just a little bit of drawn out back and forth on the oil water, or the UST related to bale storage. They also, it's a transfer station, but they also sort, she can talk to it more eloquently than I can, but they sort recyclables and bale them. And so we had requested a bale storage area, roof coverage to add greater protection from stormwater. So anyways, we got through that process. We got approval from DPW recently. So yes, that project is intended to go forward as well.
Yeah, that was also approved here.
Right. Correct.
That hasn't taken hold yet, that project?
It hasn't, literally, we got approval a month ago? A month ago. Yeah.
You gotta love permitting process, right? Any questions from the audience? Cool. With that being said, I don't think we have to vote on continuing. We're gonna carry it over to our next meeting because it's currently out for peer review.
I'll ask the same questions as previous presenter. What is the timeline for that, or your expected timeline from the peer reviewer?
Ideally in a couple weeks, but
There's a holiday
I
coming
wouldn't
up.
guarantee it. Probably get the holidays and stuff, so.
December 9th, and that's it for December.
Yeah,
And we only have one meeting in December.
December. And is it the 17th? Is that,
9th.
it's the 9th.
9th. But you're running into Thanksgiving next week, so we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting. If you contact Dr. Menard, he'll be able to tell you, and then we won't waste your time if we don't have the peer review.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Good night.
All right, we don't have the minutes from the October meeting. No new business unforeseen by the chair. Dr. Menard, do you have any member or town planner updates?
I don't.
All right, with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ron?
Aye, sorry.
JC, myself, is an aye. Meeting is adjourned.